Hello, adventurers, and welcome. Today, we are putting those dusty old textbooks aside because we're about to go on an epic quest. Our mission? To master the magical words you need for everyday life.
So, let's get right into it. Every hero needs a sword or a spell book, right? Well, in the real world, your most powerful tools, they're words. Just think of them as your personal magic to help you understand and conquer any challenge that comes your way. Our quest today is broken down into three main parts. Three challenges that, let's be honest, you face every single day. We're going to learn the vocabulary spells that you need to master each and every one. So are you ready?
Okay, let's begin. Our very first challenge takes us to the heart of any hero's castle, the kitchen. But this is no ordinary kitchen. Oh no, this is an alchemist's lab, where you're going to create the potions that power your adventures.
Now here in the lab, you've got a choice. You could grab some junk food for that quick burst of energy, but it often leaves you feeling pretty sluggish later. Or you can choose a healthy diet for that long-lasting real strength. A healthy diet is what helps you lose weight or just stay in shape, while too much of that junk food, well, that can make you put on weight.
So, how do you actually make a healthy meal? Well, you need a recipe. A recipe is kind of like a magic scroll with all the instructions. It tells you exactly what to do, step by step, so you can create your meal without a hitch. And of course, every recipe calls for ingredients. Ingredients are just all the different foods you need to make the meal. Your vegetables, meats, spices, the whole shebang. They're the magical components for your amazing culinary creation.
And this really shows the basic magic of cooking. First, you've got to prepare your ingredients. You might peel a potato or chop up an onion, then you cook them. You can boil some water for pasta or maybe fry an egg in a pan. Next, you stir it all together and add some salt or spices. And finally, you could bake a cake or roast a chicken in the oven. These are all super powerful cooking verbs.
All right, hero, it's your turn to practice this magic. Go ahead and pause for a second and try this first challenge. Describe the recipe for your favorite meal. What ingredients do you use? What are the steps? And hey, try to use the words we just learned. Excellent work. So you've eaten, you've regained your strength. Now it's time for challenge number 2. We're heading out to the marketplace, or as I like to call it, the merchant's maze, where knowing the right words is kind of like having a map to find hidden treasure. When you're out shopping, you should always be on the lookout for a discount. A discount is simply when something costs less than its normal price. And let me tell you, it's a fantastic way to save your money. Or, your gold. Okay, so after you buy something, the merchant will give you this little piece of paper. That's called a receipt. This is your proof of purchase. Always, always keep your receipt. Think of it as a really important scroll.
So why is that receipt so important? Well, because if you need to return something, you're going to need it to get a refund. A refund is when you get your money back. So it's simple. No receipt, no refund. It's basically a powerful money-back spell. Now, any wise adventurer knows their limits. If something is just too expensive, you can say, "I'm sorry, I can't afford that." It's a super useful and polite phrase that really just means you don't have enough money for it at the moment.
And you definitely want to avoid debt. Debt is when you owe money to someone else. So if you borrow money, you are officially in debt. And trust me, it can feel like a really heavy burden. It's always best to spend your gold wisely.
Time for challenge number 2. I want you to think about the last time you went shopping. Can you tell the story using our new vocabulary? Did you happen to get a discount? Did you keep the receipt? And have you ever had to ask for a refund? Go ahead, pause here, and tell your story. You've cooked. You've shopped. What a day! But every single hero needs to rest to get their strength back. So, for our third and final challenge, we're going to travel to the magical land of Nod. Yep, we're going to talk about sleep. Getting the right amount of rest is actually a delicate balance. If you sleep too long, you oversleep, and you might wake up feeling all groggy. But a lack of sleep? That's even worse. It can make you feel completely exhausted, which means very, very tired, and maybe even a little grumpy. Sometimes sleep can be, well, a little scary. A nightmare is a really bad dream. It can wake you up and make you feel afraid. It's pretty much the total opposite of a sweet dream.
And what about when you can't fall asleep at all? That condition, that has a name. It's called insomnia. You feel totally exhausted, you want to sleep, but your brain just will not turn off. It is a very, very frustrating feeling. So what's the magic number for sleep? Well, to be at your absolute best, most experts agree that about 8 hours of sleep per night is pretty much perfect. That's how you fully recharge your energy for the next day's big adventure.
And now for your final challenge. What about you? When you can't fall asleep, when you just can't sleep a wink, what do? What's your secret weapon for battling insomnia? Go on and share your ideas.
And just like that, you have completed all 3 challenges. You faced the Alchemist's kitchen, navigated the merchant's maze, and explored the land of Nod. And you have come out victorious, armed with some powerful new English words.
So let's quickly recap the powers you've unlocked. You now know how to talk about a healthy diet and how to follow a recipe. You can navigate a shopping trip using words like discount and refund, and you can describe the huge difference between a good night's sleep and a terrible nightmare. You've really started to master the language of everyday life.
You have your new vocabulary spells, but you have to remember, a true hero actually uses their powers. The real adventure, it starts now, when you go out into the world and use these words for real. You did a great job today, adventurers, and thanks for joining me on this quest.